mass migration from Africa and the Middle East. And it's destabilising countries, it's destabilising cities. In the UK, we've got London, we've got Birmingham, we've got Sheffield, we've got Blackburn, Oldham, Bradford, that have changed. The demographics of those cities have changed. And in the UK, we have no rights. No rights to criticise what's happening. We all know what's happened to people in the UK like Tommy Robinson and how many times he's been to jail on trumped up charges. To take away his freedoms of speech. Only yesterday or the day before, he was pulled in again by the police for investigating the grooming gangs by mostly Pakistani men. And that, what I just said there, will be picked up by the media as some kind of white supremacist thing to say, but it's not. Facts are now lies, and lies are now facts with this media and politicians. Jacinda is a globalist. She does not represent the people of New Zealand. The last election in New Zealand, she did not win. Winston Peters was the kingmaker. I voted for Winston Peters. And I thought he was going to go with National. So did most other people. But what did he do? He brought this Marxist, this fascist into government. And look what's happened since. She has taken away our rights. She's taken it away from us, and she's got the media on board. And the people of New Zealand, most people unfortunately, think she is marvellous.
Not all of us.
But that's where we are. We've got her offsider in Canada, Justin Trudeau, an empty vessel if I've ever seen one. He will not take questions from the rebel media. He will not take questions from media that's so-called hostile to him. And it's the same with Jacinda in New Zealand. If you notice, she never gets asked any hard questions by journalists because they are fully bought and they are fully paid up members of her club. They are all left-wing activists. I dare say I will be probably in the news or stuff or whatever in the next day or so as a far-right white supremacist, and so will all you. I don't know if there's anybody from the media here. There probably is. But they are going to print things that are lies. They will do, because that's what they do. They've got to shut us down. They've got to shut us down in the incipient stages of our movement. Because I believe this is a movement that's got to grow. We've got to take back New Zealand. We don't want New Zealand. We don't want New Zealand to go down the same road as the UK.
That's right.
And Western Europe. We can't afford to let it happen. We've got a population of only 5 million people. That's the population of Birmingham and Manchester together. Britain has got 67 million plus people. That's the official records. And yet, Britain has nearly fallen. How long would it take for this country to fall? If she persists with this global compact on safe and orderly migration that she signed. Winston Peters signed that. A man for decades who has been anti-migration or mass migration. And then he goes and signs that. And he calls then his own voters extremists. That's what he did. Now people, whoever's filming this and they're from the media, people in the crowd are shouting traitor. And you know what? I agree with them people. Winston Peters is a traitor.
Yes, a traitor.
Jacinda is a traitor too to this country. Let's face it, she is being controlled by outside forces. She has not got the mandate from the people because she never won that election. Most people voted for National. Now for me, National and Labour, you cannot put cigarette paper between them. You've got this new fella
What's the feature on
What's his name? This new fella, the national leader. Straight away, as soon as he became the leader of a national party, the opposition party, he praised Jacinda. What kind of a man praises Jacinda? He's supposed to be, pardon me, he's supposed to be the opposition. And then he's seen with a MAGA hat on his sideboard in his office. And the media attack him. And they liken it to the KKK. Confederate flag. You see the cartoons in the papers. And what does he do? He takes it away and says it's just something I bought in the United States. You know, for me, why didn't he just say, I support Donald Trump? What's wrong with that? But now in New Zealand, and probably the rest of the world, if you support, worse here, if you support Donald Trump, you are a white supremacist. We know here that that is fake and it's fake news. But just look at the way the media talks about Donald Trump. In my view, probably the best president the United States is ever going to have. And maybe if the Democrats get in power again, they will flood the United States with mass migration from South and Central America and Africa and the Middle East, because then they are going to import voters, and these people will vote for the Democrats. So Donald Trump could be the last Republican president you will ever see, and that is what they are doing right across Europe as well with the EU, with this mass migration from these same countries. Not to mention that these people that are flooding in, the vast majority of them are young, fighting-age men from Africa and the Middle East, and they are of a certain religious ideology, and we all know what it is. Now this is a problem. This is a problem. Now a fella just said, what's wrong with that? You really want to do your research, mate. We'll talk about it after, mate. But this is my time. Now a man just shouted, what's wrong with that? Mass migration from Islamic countries. Now I have got a problem with that because I know the state of Europe and I know the state of Britain. If you import the third world into your nation, you will become the third world. This culture, this religious ideology is alien to democracy. We cannot move into their nations and build a church. We cannot move into their nations and demand freedom of speech. But when they come into our nations, they get preferential treatment. Just look at the UK. These people are getting preferential treatment. And it's the same here now. On the 15th of March last year, this lunatic from Australia comes here. He came here, 1-2 years before. And he bought weapons, by the way, under the Jacinda government, and he wasn't even a resident here. He bought weapons and what he wants to do. As far as we know, and we don't know yet, but he had no connection with any far-right white supremacist groups. Well, that's the narrative. He did what he did. And what's the narrative now? He's a far-right white supremacist, and he had connections with the far-right in New Zealand and Europe. We're not even allowed to read the manifesto. Why aren't we allowed? They are in the rest of the world. The video that he made, they can watch it in the rest of the world. Why can't we watch that video? Not that we're voyeuristic or anything like that, but we want to see what happened in that video, to see if it's...
It wasn't alone.
Well, it's been said that it wasn't alone. I don't know that much about it, but what I do know is that Jacinda has decided after that to disarm New Zealanders. Disarm good, law-abiding New Zealanders that go hunting in New Zealand for something that happened when an Australian man came over here to do that job, what he did. And it was a terrible thing what he did. It was an act of terrorism. But I believe he acted either alone or he had others. But wasn't it a great opportunity for this government to disarm New Zealand? They were disgusting that she politicised it. And now we've got censorship. We can't even criticise. We can't even criticise a certain part of the population because of that. And them same people are calling for that very same thing. You cannot criticise that religious ideology.
And how dare she go on the Christchurch call because nobody ever.
And she goes and she sets up the Christchurch call in Paris to censor us, to censor the people who are concerned about their nations and the mass migration into their countries.
Right.
And now she wants to censor us on YouTube, on Facebook, on everything. She wants to shut us down and censor us. We, the majority of this country, most people here, we all pay taxes. And it seems to me the majority of taxpayers, not only in New Zealand, in all Western nations, we have the least rights. People are flooding into this country and they are getting the most rights. We've even got transgenders going into our schools and teaching young children to the age of 5 about all kinds of things that they do, and that is acceptable under this government. That's insane.
Shame.
That's sick.
Shame.
It is sick. Well, this is being accepted, and this transgender movement. What kind of was it? 0.01% of the population, and they've got more voice than us. We're the taxpayers, we've got no voice. It's sick. The whole world is sick. It's a sickness, and that sickness is globalisation. These people are corrupt. Disgusting, corrupt people. George Soros, Bill Gates, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and somewhere in there is probably the CCP. But I believe Jacinda is controlled by the United Nations.
She's a puppet.
And she's a puppet. She is a puppet of the World Health Organization. And I have no doubt in this coming election, she's bought the media of New Zealand $50 million. And she will get donations. I don't know, but I'm guessing she will get donations from abroad to make her win that election. Now I believe this new fella, the leader of a national party, Muller, he's a weak as piss candidate, I believe. I think he's probably been put there to make Jacinda win the election.
To win by more.
To win by even more. Looking at you, what's his name? Simon O'Connor. Made a YouTube video just 2 weeks ago. Simon O'Connor, MP for National. He made a YouTube video where he severely criticised this government and he talked about tyranny. There was National's leader right there staring him in the face. And what did they choose? The Invisible Man. I've never even seen this fella before he became leader of the National Party the other day.
Spineless win.
Never even seen him. And now he's the leader. And I believe he's there to ensure Jacinda wins.
Another puppet.
Puppet! That's someone's in the crowd is shouting puppet. And this is true, these people are puppets. And they're all shouting from the same input. Because they want to ensure Jacinda, the globalist, the woman who's taken New Zealand down the wrong path. Deliberately for outside forces who are against the people of New Zealand. And it's not unique to here. This is right across the Western world. We've got Macron in France. We've got Merkel in Germany. We've got Trudeau, Justin Trudeau of Canada. These people all have connections to the richest people in the world. George Soros would only be one of them.
Ed Morrison and
Hillary Clinton is another one, another globalist. I'll tell you what, if Hillary Clinton won the last election in the United States, we would be at war right now. The world would be at war. She is corrupt. The Clintons are corrupt. The Obamas, I believe, are corrupt too. Well, this, honestly, we need change in this country.
Yeah.
And we've got to get together. We've got to get some kind of movement going. And it is what I call a populist movement. The media are going to call it some kind of far-right movement. We have to expect that. Paddy Gower will probably do a story on me, and probably some of you. Paddy Golden Shower. That's what he will do. They will probably mention this on the project.
John Campbell.
John Campbell, another one, isn't he? What an alpha male he is. Hey, I'm Paddy Golden Shower. What's his name? Jack Tame, another one, with his cross face. These people all support Jacinda. They will never ever question Jacinda. They will drive the narrative that we are all white supremacists. We've got to wake up, people. You know, our only saviour in all this, at this very moment in time in history, is Donald Trump. And he's the most powerful man in the world still. Yes, he's got the deep state against him. He's got the swamp of Washington against him. But he's our only hope. If he falls down, if he goes in the next election, the world is screwed. We know Biden, we've all seen Biden on the telly. The man doesn't even know what day it is. And yet he's running for the presidency of the United States against Donald Trump. Now for me, Biden, I mean, he's actually ahead of Donald Trump in the polls. Would you believe that? Now the vice president that is chosen for Biden deep state, that person will become the president of the United States. Because if Biden wins, perish the thought, he will be put in the home straight away. And the vice president will become the president. And that could be Hillary Clinton. So she'll get there by default, much like Jacinda Ardern got there by default. It was all orchestrated.
Yes.
And it will take away our rights.
Yes.
At least in the United States, they've got the First and the Second Amendments, the Constitution. We have got the Bill of Rights. The Magna Carta was signed by King John in, I think it was 1215. And from the Magna Carta, 400 odd years later, came the Bill of Rights in the 17th century. They are the Bill of Rights, they cannot be changed. And the Bill of Rights applies to the 52 nations of the Commonwealth that spread out from the UK, from England. They cannot be changed now or forever. But this government is taking away them rights right now. They are working on taking them away, our Bill of Rights. That in itself is an act of treason. Andrew Little is working on taking away our rights. In a few months we won't even be able to do this. They are going to be able to control who we mix with, who we talk to, where we go, what we can say. This is not freedom, this is not a democracy.
There is a constitution.
There is a constitution, of course there's a constitution. And the one I know about is the Bill of Rights. The United States have got it there in law and they can defend their constitution. They defend the First Amendment with the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And they will not let their arms go, and good on them as well, because if I was in the United States, I would have arms. And if the police came to my house, there would be a shootout. That's if I was in the United States, obviously. Because that's their right. Their right, the Second Amendment, is to defend themselves from outside forces. I'm paraphrasing. From outside forces and government tyranny. And what we're experiencing here now in New Zealand is government tyranny. Tyranny of Jacinda Ardern. It is put in power by outside forces. Well, how are we going to do it? We've got to swap numbers here. People get to know each other, swap numbers, because we've got to do this week in, week out. And we need speakers who are going to stand up here like I'm doing now. And you've got to risk it. Stick your head up. The press are going to destroy you. And we know what our families are doing. They're splitting our families. Even my family, not going into too much detail, but they really disagree with what I do. They don't like it. But I'm committed to it. I believe in what I'm doing, and I'm sticking my neck out. And I know they're going to come to me. I don't know if it's going to affect my job. But it may do. If they name the place I work, I could lose my job. Well, that's the risk I'm having to take. I am not going to sit down and be walked over by tyranny of this government. We've got to shout it. I bought this just yesterday. And I bought it to do just this, because it's my right still. We still have the Bill of Rights to defend our freedom. They're going to censor us. They want us to be robots, and they're going to flood this country. They're taking away our rights to criticise what they're doing, and they're taking our rights to criticise. Anyway, someone's just shouted to me to lift them up.
We're all fine now. We're all here.
People, we have got to change this nation. We really have. What we've got to do is swap numbers and honestly say it out loud in your workplace and to your family. What is happening? Because it is happening, whether we like it or not. And if your family disagree, your friends disagree, your friends disown you, and they will. Then are they even friends anyway? Because one day they will realise that you were right. But by then, it just might be too late. And that is the problem. In the UK, it's on the cusp of being too late. Same in France. But we are still, this country can still be saved. It can still be saved. But we have to get more people informed. We really do. And call out the mainstream media or the legacy media as fake media, which they are. They are lying. All these so-called journalists are left-wing activists. We've got to call it out.
They're not going to lie down and let us take them.
I know. Someone's just said the journalists, the media are not going to they're not going to lie down and let us take them. And it's true. They will smear us. They will smear me. For sure they will smear me. But I don't care what they do. They can arrest me, they can charge me, they can put me in jail. But I'll tell you what, they're not going to stop me saying what I'm saying. I will say it in jail as well.
Yes.
And if I'm in jail, I will protest on the rooftops of jail.
Yes.
And I will spread the word in jail what's happening in this country. You've got to be prepared for what this government is going to do. So anyway, I think I've said enough. Does anybody else want to talk? Troy, would you like to talk?
Yeah, come on, Troy.
Now this is my mate, Troy, and he's going to do some speaking. Thank you very much, everybody.
We should make the speakers smaller. Like they do on the
There you go. Can you hear that? Is that good? I wish I could do what Lee does. My golly. I've got a wad of notes here and I'm shaking like a leaf. So, my name is Troy Allen. And I've got a message. I've got a message for New Zealand. Wake up, New Zealand! My God, we've got to wake people up. 111 days. 111 days is all we have. In 111 days, it'll be September the 19th, and we get to vote. We get an opportunity then to put in place, to put in motion some things that will change the trajectory of this nation and make New Zealand great again. I want to see New Zealand made great again. Now I'm going to start reading my notes. I guess my goal, I've said this before here, is to have a strong, safe, healthy, wealthy and enduring New Zealand. And as Lee just said, if we don't change the directory, New Zealand is not going to be enduring. It won't be the New Zealand we've known. of the past. It will change its culture, and it will be for the worst for all of us, for our children. And it's so good to see some children here today, some of the next and future generations, understanding what's going on. I just want to see what groups are represented here today. Is there anyone from the South Island Independence Movement? Anyone who supports that movement here today? Yeah, we've got a few of them. Good to see you guys. Is there anyone that supported the firearms lobby? Firearms rights? Yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of you here. What about end of lockdown? Who's here supporting? Yeah? Oh, heap of you guys. Well done. Great to see you. Great work that Sue, is it? Sue Gray. Congratulations to Sue. I know you're up there, Nelson. Sue, keep up the good work. You're doing a great job.
Party.
What was that, buddy?
Outdoors party.
Outdoors party. Any other political parties here today? Good to see you, buddy. Any other political parties here today? No, just one. Just one little fledgling party. All right, it's good to see you. The key here is to come together and to make transformation to this nation. If good people don't fight, it's over. We've been blessed in this nation. We've been blessed for years and years. We've never really had to do the graft that our forefathers did. We never had Great Depressions, although I think there's one coming. We never had massive worldwide wars. We've lived in this blessing. We've gone boating, fishing, hunting, shooting at will. We've had work, most of us, and we've enjoyed life. And we haven't had to fight for a goddamn thing. We need to wake New Zealand up. We need to stand up, people, because if the good people of the world don't fight, it's over. All that is required for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. And that's what's happening in the country. It's good to see numbers here. The first time out, it's so good to see you guys. It's so good to see the malls full. I stood in the fish and chip shop yesterday, last night. There was standing room only and no one was wearing a mask. My God, that was good to see. It was good to see people at Riverside Market. The market was full and the TV cameras were there filling it. It was good to see a man sitting in Ballantyne's looking absolutely frustrated because his wife was spending all the money that she hadn't spent over the lockdown. It's good to see this stuff. We've been forced into this situation through bad and incorrect data, through the COVID. How many people here have watched Del Victory and the High Wire? Alright, I really recommend that. Del Victory and the High Wire, they research, they find the data that the media, mainstream media, will not tell you. They give you the data and then you make up your mind. I really encourage New Zealand. Plug into that, have a look at it, make your own mind up. You will see that this thing is a farce. Del Victory on the High Wire, Facebook and YouTube, and their own website. The new normal that we keep hearing that you're being, conditioned to accept is a temporary abnormal. Do not accept that phraseology. Understand they're trying to repeat it often enough so that people start believing it's just what Hitler did. It's exactly what Hitler did. And every tyrant throughout history has done the same thing. They say we're all in this together, but are we really? Do you wonder if the coronavirus crisis is being used to control people? Have you noticed leftist policies being pushed as safety measures? Do these measures make sense to you? This is exactly what Hitler did. It's exactly the same. The phrase, and I'm not good with German, but they said it's for your safety. It's not. It's socialism being forced upon you. We're expected to pause the economy like a video game. If you allow your 5-year-old to leave the house without a mask, you don't care about people dying. That's the narrative they're sharing with you. You want to go back to work? You only care about money. Who was you told? Or snitches will battle on you? Your neighbours. Is that the New Zealand we want? No! We're going to do something about that. Stay at home and don't ask questions. all in this together. These are lies. We're not in this together. This is a socialist mandated takeover of this country. The left is certainly in this together. Sharing even bigger government. Dismiss the effect of our economy's grinding halt, squelching your civil rights, and heavily shaming people on social media. Authoritarians are attempting to gain more and more control over our lives. And I tell you that's exciting, but it stops here. It stops here, people. Common sense should prevail. Have you heard about these new laws? Welcome to the new communist world order in New Zealand. The free speech laws that they're pushing through under urgency. Who decides what's right? Who decides what's wrong? Who makes those rules up? It's not objective. It is not a law that we can use. It's not like a speed limit that says that's it, that's the mark. No. It's not hate speech, it's speech they hate. It's stuff that they don't like the truth. And they will shut it down.
That's right.
Social media laws are coming to imprison us. Well, she, whose name I won't mention because she kills more people every 2 days than Bridget Tarrant kills in one.
Yes.
On the abortion clinics. She's shutting our social media down. God bless President Trump. He's saying social media must tell the truth and they cannot censor you.
Yes. God bless Donald Trump.
I've got a message for her. Listen. And for all the New Zealand government. You heard about the COVID laws. Inquiry into the operation of COVID-19 Public Health Response Act 2020. The final closing date for submissions. They were forced to go into submissions because of you, because of the public outcry. Well done, New Zealand.
Yes.
Because of the public outcry, the submissions, you have 28 days. 28 days. Wake up, New Zealand. Do something.
Yes.
Every person here made a submission with the tagline in your email, I disagree with this law, it should be removed in its entirety.
Because it's against our human Bill of Rights.
Because it's against the Bill of Rights. It's against our Constitution. It would make a huge difference. The final, so that's on the 28th, and the 28 days to go. So, the law was passed 2 weeks ago. There are 9 rules that I want to speak about that will go out to New Zealand today. You can read it for yourself on the website. These are the new rules that Gestapo get to enforce, and I call them the Gestapo because it's probably exactly what they'll end up being. It's a special force of enforcers that are going to be sent into your homes, your workplaces, into your lives. Rule number 1. You're not used to stay in any specified place or refrain from going to any specified place. You can be incarcerated in your home, you can be incarcerated in any place they tell you, and you're not allowed to go where they tell you you're not allowed to go. You might not be allowed to go to work. You might not be allowed to go to your doctor. You might not be allowed to go to church. Any Christians here today? You're the answer to this. I'll come to that in a minute. Rule number 2, refrain from associating with specified persons. You're not allowed to talk to my buddy Lee across the Rubicon anymore.
There's a fucking one, bro.
You're not allowed to associate with the people who agree with you. Number 3, stay physically distanced from any persons in any specified way.
Bullshit.
Separating families.
That's right.
Once again, dividing the community. Number 4, refrain from travelling to or from any specified area. Does this sound like Nazi Germany to you?
Absolutely.
It sounds like it to me. Refrain,
Yes.
refrain from carrying out specified activities like protests. For example, business activities. So you may not be allowed to conduct your business involving close personal contact or require specified activities to be carried out only in a specified way. Bend over in compliance with specified measures. They're making the rules on how you conduct your life, how you conduct your business.
That's right.
Number 6, be isolated or quarantined in any specific place or in any specific way. Number 7, refrain from participating in gathering of any specified kind, in any specified place or special circumstances. Man, they want to shut you down, New Zealand. Wake up, New Zealand.
right.
We've got to wake up our friends, we've got to wake up our families, we've got to wake up our workmates. And I give you permission to post this video wherever. Get the message out there. We've got to wake New Zealand up because history says our trajectory is up. They could say, we're just going to lock you up and throw away the key. But they actually already said that in number 6. Be isolated or quarantined in any specified place in any specified way. And yeah, we've got 28 days, people. So unless you want to be locked up with the key thrown away, do something. New Zealand, do something.
Yes.
Do something. Do something.
Yes.
This is not a year to hit the ski fields, to go boating, to go hunting, to do the things we love. This is a year to fight for our nation. This is a year to turn our attention on what's happening in the political realm and deal to it and make a transformation that good people do nothing, tyranny will prevail.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what's happening. That's why we're in the mess we're in today. Those of you who follow ACT, there's an interesting post they just put on Facebook the other day. There were 15 pieces of legislation passed under urgency in 17 hours.
Wow.
For the sake of time, I'm not going to press into that. But that's the nature of our government. They're forcing laws through while the country's locked down and our attention is turned somewhere else.
So how do we stop this?
That's a good question. I'll come to that.
Where's the transparency?
The trouble with this whole sham is the cure's worse than the disease. What cost to people's lives and health has the government's draconian handling of this event caused? This will affect our children's generations, our children for generations to come. The disease is in the, Jacinda wants to, she talks about eradication. Man, what is going through her mind? What nonsense.
right.
The disease is in the world. It's going to be in the world forever and a day. It will come around every single year
Nonsense.
from now until the end of time.
It's not about the virus.
It's not about
It's not about
Take
the
away your
virus.
freedoms.
favourite slogan, comrades.
But history, the data is showing that this thing's no worse than a bad flu.
That's right.
Or actually a normal flu. But we're still being locked down. It's based on false information right from the get-go.
It's deliberate.
The Imperial College, the material that came out of there was false. They found that out in the first couple of weeks, but they kept doing what they're doing to enforce their socialist agenda and ideals.
New World Order.
Once you've had this disease, you have a lifetime immunity to it. They're talking about bringing out a vaccine as if it's going to save us.
Bullshit.
But they won't tell us how to live healthy and get our immune systems working. They won't mandate good health. They want to mandate controlled virus injections and tracking devices.
That's what they want to do.
They want to know who you've been associating with, just like in China.
Yep.
Yep.
And we have Jacinda on record saying that the country that she most wants New Zealand to emulate is the CCP.
Disgusting.
And we can find that video and put it up on YouTube for you.
Traitor.
Oh yeah, that'll
She
be
is.
He's a snake.
Traitor.
Someone else.
Cover up the treason.
Treason. Yes. She's right.
I want to talk to you about suicide today.
Come on.
The most open and transparent government is hiding our suicide rates and will not publish them.
That's right.
And by the way, if you are an open and transparent government, you don't have to tell people you are. After 3 years in power, they would know you don't have to whitewash this over. You don't have to be a whitewashed wall. New Zealand historically has had some of the highest suicide rates in the world. It's time for